Arena Breakout Infinite just dropped its Season 6 closed beta test patch notes. And quite honestly, this might be one of the biggest updates we've seen in a long time. And this isn't because of a new weapon, not because of a new map, but because more fun is starting to experiment again. But this time, this experiment could fundamentally change how ABI is going to be played. From a brand new specialization system to a PvE focused mode with, take note, respawns, to major weapon balance changes and some pretty controversial new items. Let's talk about it. The biggest thing in this update is easily the new specialization system. This season, players will be able to invest on points into 3 branches, namely combat, survival, and support. And these bonuses apply almost to every mode except for LTMs and covert ops. And now I'm going to be honest here, I do have mixed feelings about this specific update. On one hand, it does add that progression, the customization, yet on the other hand, one of the things that made ABI appealing was that everyone entered the battlefield on equal footing. Now we need to see how impactful these bonuses might be, because if they are too strong, this could become another layer separating newer players from the veterans. But all in all, this will easily be one of the biggest systems that More Fun will introduce since the game's launch. The second thing that caught my attention is the new Guard Zone mode. This honestly sounds like More Fun continuing to lean towards PvE content. So this mode has features like stronger AI, special enemy types, night weather, blizzards, boss rallies, cooperative objectives and airdrops, and even more. More specifically, Farm and Northridge will have disabled friendly fire between teams. And this is a massive shift from the traditional Arena Breakout Infinite experience. If you've been following my content, you know I've been saying this for months, that PvE deserves a lot more attention, and I feel like this is More Fun testing exactly those waters. Now this one's interesting. Resource War. So Resource War is essentially a respawn mode where you don't bring in gear. So you choose your own loadout, you loot resources, you deposit them into earnings boxes, respawn when you die, and keep fighting for rewards. And this is probably one of the most arcade style modes that Arena Breakout Infinite has ever experimented with. Whether that's a good or a bad thing is going to depend entirely on the execution and the gameplay experience. But this definitely doesn't feel like a traditional extraction gameplay anymore. And now let's talk about what might become the most controversial item of Season 6, the Y40 Overload Agent. So with this item, it removes all of your negative effects, it heals all of your broken limbs, and restores you to full HP. Now in paper or just reading this, that's so OP. But there is a downside. The downside, it permanently lowers your maximum health for the rest of the raid. And I do understand, I can already see people arguing about this one, because depending on how common it becomes or how much you can get it, this could completely change how players recover from gunfights. And for everyone tired of the current meta of 191, HK, yada yada yada, finally, good news, the U191 is getting nerfed. With the U191, recoil is increased, firing power has become from ultra high to high, and several types of 191 variants are also getting some adjustments. At the same time, the RPK gets a buff, AN94 gets a fire rate increase, the F2K gets a recoil rework, and this is probably the weapon balancing that most players are going to care about. Because let's be honest, Season 5 basically replaced one dominant meta, which was the HK, with another, which is the 191. So we'll have to wait and see if Season 6 actually opens up more weapon diversity. We also have 2 new weapons, the Banshee SMG and the T88 TMR. And not that far behind are new ammo pieces, Tier 4 .45 APWC, Tier 4 556 M855A2s, And get this, the Dragon's Breath shotgun shells. For my OG Lost Light followers here, you know what's gonna happen. And a few more things that players shouldn't overlook. We have ADS movement and aiming behavior have been adjusted. Weapon inspections no longer slow your movement. Vaulting can now be performed mid-air, which could reduce getting stuck in certain places. And one change that some people are going to love and others are going to hate, players can no longer bring in extra weapon attachments into raids through their backpacks and rigs. So no more cheesing their loadouts. Overall, this is one of the most ambitious test server updates we're gonna have in a long time. The question is whether these changes are actually gonna solve the issues that players have been talking about for seasons and seasons, or if they're just simply adding more systems on top of existing problems. But again, those were only my thoughts, but I'd rather know about yours. What's the biggest change this coming Season 6 that you're excited for, and what's the biggest red flag you're worried about? Do let me know in the comment section down below. Big thank you again for watching this video. Please drop a like, comment your thoughts, subscribe if you're new, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.